Good morning. I'm out here in one of my favorite parts of Oregon, the Owyhee River Canyon, and this is just some unbelievably gorgeous territory. I have been out on the road down through the canyon for the past 5 days or so with Jason of Primal Outdoors and Shai of Out and Back Oregon. And we've been scouting some routing options for the large overland route that we've been working on throughout eastern Oregon. We've reached the end of what we wanted to get done a couple days earlier than expected, and I have a couple of days until I need to be in Nampa, Idaho for a family event. So I am going to gas the truck up, head off into Idaho someplace, completely unplanned. I have no idea where I'm going. I've never looked at any of it in a map. We're just gonna go drive out into some BLM land and see what we find. After gassing up, I stopped and looked at Gaia GPS for a while to try and just get a sense of roughly where I needed to go. It turns out there's actually a lot more private land interspersed with the BLM land in there than I expected, and I also there's a big area that I don't have map data downloaded because I just was not expecting it to be out there. But then I remembered that years ago I'd heard about a point of interest that was out here somewhere, and so I just mapped it off of my phone actually while I had internet service in town, but hopefully I'll be able to move on from there and push up towards Nampa tomorrow. Well, I have to admit, I really thought that I was going to be just out in more sort of rocky sagebrush desert, and this is really a pleasant surprise. It's got up into some sort of pine forest and running along this lovely little creek with like boulders and aspens with turning bright yellow. Really just charming little area.
Some abandoned cabins along the way are a promising sign for what I'm hoping to find up this road.
So this is Silver City, Idaho, and I had the name in the back of my head. I knew that there was some sort of old historic ghost town out in this area, and it was pretty easy to find. The road to get here was, there were signs warning of high clearance, 4x4 needed. It was really pretty straightforward, and there's like little cars and minivans and stuff here. And so this town, as it turns out, is not an actual abandoned ghost town. All the cabins, the houses, the buildings are all privately owned, and some of them are actually actively occupied at least part of the year. You can see that people were living in some of them. Not quite the ghost town that I'm used to running across, really truly lost, where there's just nobody and it's just abandoned and on BLM land. So I mean, it was really cool. It was really cute. There's no services here. There's no gas. There's no way to acquire anything. So it's backcountry in that sense. It looked to me like a lot of people who are living out there are hunters. Lots of side-by-sides and people sitting on their porches look like they were taking a break from their hunting excursion. So I mean, I guess that was fine. It was a nice drive out here. It was really some pretty country that I was not expecting, and it got me out here, and now I'm gonna push further on up. Still got a few hours of sun, so I'm gonna just keep on exploring up here and see if I can find someplace with fewer people.
I followed these people out of Silver City, but quickly found a route where minivans won't roam. I love these interesting rock formations poking out of this sparse forest of dwarfed trees.
So I don't know if you can kind of see this sort of undetailed blurred area of my map in Gaia GPS is where I don't have any data downloaded. And up here, where I'm kind of headed, this is where I happen to have downloaded a map data before this trip. Now, my old Garmin, I can see that I am on a road. There's been a couple of other roads that have gone in other directions, but this is the only one that has actually showed up on in the sort of legacy data that's inside this old Garmin. So that's encouraging. Oh no, I wasn't talking to you. So I'm hoping that this road is gonna get me up into here someplace where I can actually sort of see what I'm doing. Crested sort of a ridge, and all of a sudden I had cell signal, so I was able to hotspot to my iPad and download some map data, and now I've got a much clearer picture of where I am and where I'm going. And it looks like, as long as this road doesn't peter out, I should be able to work my way through.
I've climbed up and down over a few ridge lines this afternoon and have found myself cresting the highest one yet, topped by completely treeless grasslands.
Okay, so this is just an unbelievably awesome campsite. Oh my gosh. Even with that smoke and haze in the air, it's still a stunning view. And these rocks, holy these rocks and these little trees and views off on the other side. The main problem is it kind of up at the top of that ridge. It sort of came down and definitely got some protection because the wind is coming from that way. And so there's some of that ridge up there. Maybe I could pitch the tent up over there behind those rocks and be a little more protected. Oh, I just love this campsite. These rocks. I almost never stake down the Gazelle, but when there's some wind, I found that it doesn't hurt to stake down just the two corners that are facing the wind, just to keep the wind from sort of picking up underneath it. I've positioned the truck to act as a wind block. I did think about setting the tent up over behind that rock. It's definitely a little less windy there, but there's lots and lots of fresh cow dung. We're out on rangeland here, and it's probably a spot that the cows maybe come to shelter themselves, and I was gonna have to scoop a lot of poop to be able to set up any kind of camp over there. So I decided to just go ahead and set up here and hope for the best. As it's been getting a little bit darker, the wind has actually been dying off a little bit since the time that I've arrived. So hopefully we'll be okay tonight. So the new Jackery 1000 Pro is working out nicely inside the tent. I'm using it to charge up my phone using the USB-C output, also my camera battery, and the flat surface turns out to make a perfect sort of little nightstand next to my bed. So I got my phone and my flashlight and my keys. Hello there. What y'all doing? I don't have any food for you. The wind died down real nice, didn't it? Well, the wind was kind of coming and going, but it was coming frequently, so I decided rather than try and cook anything outside, I would just snack tonight. I always try on these week-long trips to pack things that I can eat without cooking if I need to. No sooner did I get in here and get everything kind of set up than I heard the rain come. So yeah, we're gonna spend the evening cozy in the tent tonight.
Earlier, it looked like the wind was going to die down, but it has only increased in intensity, and I've been awakened a couple of times by the wall hub of the tent popping in on me. So I finally decided to do something about it.
Pop inward. Right around a wheel there like that, yeah. Okay, that's not going anywhere now. Solid. 12:30. Yeah, I've been trying to sleep for a couple hours here. Whew. We're staying dry inside the tent though. The only water that's got in is just from me opening the door and walking in here. Well, it's 4:30 in the morning. It has not let up. It has only got worse. And I don't even think I can like pack stuff up and drive down the mountain, because I think that if I try and take my stuff out of here, I won't be able to keep this tent from just blowing away in this wind. So I guess I'm just gonna have to ride it out. I keep thinking it's gotta end sometime. There's literally wind inside the tent because it's sort of raising and lowering that the rain fly, and then the roof of the tent is all screen material, and you can just feel the air swirling around in here. The floor of the tent is lifting up and setting back down. I actually managed to sleep for a little bit, but this latest little round here is just
It's now about 5:30, and this time the roof hub has popped inward.
Oh, I think I've lost the rain fly. Oh yeah, I'm feeling water now. Crap. Oh, it sure is. It's just hanging on here. I got everything out of the tent and just crammed into the back of the truck. Managed to get the tent broken down, and I just threw it in the back of the truck and managed to pull the bungees up over the top of it. So, oh, it is cold, icy, snowy stuff that's blowing. My fingers are just numb. So I don't know if I should just ride it out here until I get some daylight, or try to get to a little bit lower elevation in case any of this snowy stuff accumulates. Well, I'm just gonna sit here, warm up for a minute, and collect my thoughts. So I'm just really not too sure what makes the most sense here. I'm sort of driving on what looks to be downhill route towards a more primary road, which is quite a ways away. And this dirt road, where it's not rocky, has gotten really slippery now that it's wet. So it occurred to me that yesterday, when I hit that gravel road, I aired down, but it didn't air down that much, maybe to like 28 or so. So I've let more air out of the tires. I took them down to 18. This mud is really slippery, and anything I can do to help. Yeah, I've dropped some elevation, so it's not snowing here, so at least there's not that, but it's just this mud. It's crazy. Well, I'm in a really bad spot now. I slid a little sideways, got down into a rut, dragged something across a rock. Something started hissing. It's not a tire. It hisses when I put the truck in gear and try to drive anywhere. So I can't even try to drive out of it. And I don't know what that hissing noise is. Just have to stop and think about this.
It's hard to see in the dark, but the trail is quite steep, and with zero traction in this greasy mud, I got sucked sideways into a deep rut, with the truck coming to rest perpendicular to the slope, leaning downhill at about a 45-degree angle toward the passenger side. As it was happening, I was convinced I was going to roll over. The truck is sitting so precariously that I'm worried any direction I try to winch may make things worse and roll it over completely.
Stepped away, thought about it for a while, looked at it from a few different angles, realized what needed to happen. I thought just to assist in a recovery, and I ended up driving out of it. But then I managed to slide down into another rut, and I'm high-centered. Okay, well, this is much less dire than the situation I was in before. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I'm sitting pretty good on the rear diff there. In fact, that tire is off the ground. All right, so to start with here, I've packed some rocks under the rear tires, and I'm going to turn on the rear locker. So both of those tires spin no matter what. I guess we'll see what happens here. Just kicked them out.
I've repacked more rocks to try it again.
Okay, is this something the winch can pull me out of? Maybe down to that. I've never used it before, so guess we'll find out. What do you know? It did work. This is my Yankum Ropes synthetic winch line. Got the job done. Okay. Well, made it a little ways further down the trail, and then there was a pretty big sort of drop off to continue on, and now I'm high-centered on that. Well, let's try again with some rocks. And I tried using some rocks. That did not get me there either, so I pulled the winch out again, and that did work. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. I am hung up on a cattle grate, which I didn't notice had a huge drop off on the far side. And there's a bypass, but it looked all off camber and muddy. And so the cattle grate is usually easier, but I just didn't even notice that drop off there. Oh, and now I'm hung up on that. I can't go forwards or backwards. I can't believe it. Oh man, I am so over this. I'm gonna try with the rocks again. Rocks in the locker. Oh, dang it. I don't know what I would have done if I had been someplace where there's no trees. Well, I am down out of the mountains. I'm still on dirt, but it's much more flat. Normal, just sort of not so gnarly roads. I'm making my way towards pavement. I'm done. This adventure is over. So a couple of things you might have asked yourself during some of those recoveries up there on the mountain. Why didn't I grab my shovel and try digging some of that stuff out? And that was indeed the first thing I looked at was my shovel, only to see that it wasn't there. It's gone from my roof rack. It must have got snagged by one of those branches when I was driving through those really tight low trees on the trail yesterday, and I don't know at what point. I'll have to review the footage to see at what point the shovel disappeared, but I had no shovel. You have the MAXTRAX up there, and I think they could have helped in a couple of those situations. They are padlocked on there, and so stupid. This is so stupid. Before coming on this trip, I was thinking, well, I don't have the canopy. All I need is my truck key and my house key. And so I cleared everything else off my key ring just for the week and completely forgot about the padlock on the MAXTRAX. And I actually tried to bust the lock. I took a big rock and I was banging on it, and it looked like I was starting to actually bend the mount itself, so I stopped doing that. So I did not expect to be out by myself on this trip. I thought that I was going to be rolling with Jason and Shai for the entire week, and then I would be just driving right on into Nampa, Idaho, where my cousin lives. And it wasn't my intention on this trip to be doing any sort of gnarly anything. I just thought I was going to be driving some Forest Service roads through some beautiful backcountry. I guess this time I got some experience in dealing with self-recovery. I know I will continue to go out solo because it's what I really enjoy the most, and I do the best filming work when I'm out by myself. I mean, sorry, 3 wild horses galloping across the desert. That was beautiful. That was a nice little treat. I needed that. I guess the other sort of lack of preparation on my part was heading up into the mountains without checking on the weather. This time of year, really anything can happen. I took for granted just the beautiful, beautiful week that we had had. Now obviously as I was driving yesterday, I could see that the weather was changing, that there was a system coming in, but you know, that had happened to us the day before down along the Owyhee River. We had clouds come in and I was sure we were gonna get rained on next morning. It was beautiful, and I didn't take it seriously enough yesterday. And my Midland GMRS radio has a special channel that you can turn it to, and it's got the National Weather Service report for wherever you are. And that's really something that I should make a habit of checking. Anyway, I'm rambling on and debriefing, and you know, I'm trying to also cover the things that I know people are going to criticize and talk about in the comments, and just to say, yeah, I know it wasn't perfect. I'm not perfect. I try to get it all covered and I try to think of everything, but you know, yeah. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. It's been an experience for sure. Now it is time to air up and head to my cousin's home. Thanks for watching.
Mm-hmm.